Alright, this is the biggest scandal in Go history. It could be. A last minute rule that no one cared about was suddenly enforced at the worst possible timing against Chinese top player Ke Jie. The question is, did Korea set up Ke Jie? Did the referee interfere to protect their own player? Even Byun Sang-il, the Korean opponent, admitted he didn't fully understand the rule, yet it was suddenly used to eliminate Ke Jie, and now China is fighting back. All foreigners are banned from Chinese tournaments, cutting off millions of dollars from Korea and Japanese players. This isn't just about Go. This is about national pride, sportsmanship, and future of international competition. Again, did Korea trap Ke Jie with an unfair rule? Let's break it down. A new rule no one cared about until now. Before we get in any further, we have to understand the rule difference between Korea and China. So in China, when you are playing Go, the captured stones don't count as points. That's why you can just throw it anywhere on the table or sometimes even back to your opponent's bowl. But in Korea and Japan, those captured points are worth 1 point, so you better keep it safe. But nobody really strictly enforced where to put those captured stones. But here's the change. A new Korean rule introduced only 3 months before the LG Cup made it mandatory to place the captured stones in the lid. And the first violation of not doing that is 2 point deduction. And the second time violation would be an instant loss. But here's the problem. Even Byun Sang-il, the Korean player, he admitted he didn't understand the rule. Neither coaches were fully aware of how strict this rule would be. This rule was buried in a document and never emphasized until it was suddenly enforced at a critical moment. Why was Ke Jie punished so harshly when even his opponent was confused? Did LG Cup fail to properly announce the rule, or did they deliberately keep it quiet so they could just enforce it only when it benefited Korea? Let's talk about how the LG Cup final became the scandal. The first game of the LG Cup finals, Ke Jie won the game, and in the second game, Ke Jie accidentally placed a captured stone in the wrong spot. The referee saw it and deducted 2 points. But they kept going. And later on, Ke Jie made this mistake again because he was too focused in this game and he's still not used to this new rule. When Byun Sang-il saw Ke Jie violating the rule, he reported it by raising his hands. At this point, Byun Sang-il, after the game, he thought this would be another 2 point deduction, right? But out of nowhere, they said Ke Jie, that was an instant loss. And Byun was equally confused too. So that's what happened in the second game. And in the third game, Ke Jie was trying to do some very aggressive stuff, but he made a mistake. So he is basically losing the third game. During the game, out of nowhere, the referee pauses the game to check if Ke Jie made another violation because they were suspecting that he did it again. And this happened at Byun's turn, giving him extra time to think. For those of you who play Go or chess, time is very crucial in this kind of sports. The more you think, the better answer you get. So this is clearly unfair to Ke Jie. On the other side, Byun Sang-il, who was already winning, got extra time to strategize while Ke Jie sat there frustrated and angry. And because of this, Ke Jie refused to continue and just forfeited the match. And let's be honest, if you're losing, you're already pissed off, and your referee out of nowhere just stops the game so your opponent can think for extra 20 minutes or so. That can be very frustrating, right? Some people think it's a setup from that Korean side, and a lot of people are angry, and especially Chinese fans are furious. For those who don't understand why Chinese people would get so furious over this is because if Ke Jie had won this LG Cup, he would have become Chinese first ever 9-time world champion. And on top of that, in Asia, Go isn't just a game, it's symbol of intelligence and national dominance. Just like how Soviet and US did with chess, just like how Soviet and United States used to play chess to show who got smarter people. Losing like this because of a last minute rule feels like a national betrayal. Instead of a historic moment for China, Ke Jie was eliminated by the rule that nobody cared about before. And Chinese Go fans are saying, we don't need to take this from Korea. We don't need Korea to play Go. And that is exactly what China is doing now. China didn't complain, they're fighting back. China's response to this is they banned all foreign players from Chinese tournaments, refused to participate in future Korean hosted events, and Korean and Japanese professionals are losing millions of dollars because of this. Why this is a disaster for Korea and Japan? Now, Chinese tournaments have the biggest prize pools, and many Korean and Japanese pros rely on China for their income. Without China, their earnings are destroyed, or at least cut in half. On top of that, it's not just the players who suffer. Without Chinese participation, Korean tournaments will lose sponsors. Sponsors invest in tournaments to see the best players compete, but without Chinese players, will Korean companies still want to fund these events? That is a huge question mark. Now, if the sponsorship money disappears, Korean and Japanese Go players will struggle financially even more. This could permanently damage international Go community, and it all started because of this one rule. Now that China and Korea are at a war over Go, what happens next? Scenario number one would be China and Korea remain divided. Chinese players only play in China, Korean players only play in Korea. International tournaments lose its prestige and Go was split into different leagues. Scenario number two, a compromise is reached. Go associations agree on standardized rulebook. China gradually lifts the ban on foreign players. International tournaments recover, but tensions remain. Scenario three would be a completely new global Go order. A new independent Go organization steps in to ensure fairness. Korea, China, and Japan must agree on standardized rules. A new World Go Championship is created under neutral governance. I doubt it. If China and Korea don't fix this problem, then the Go world might split forever. And it all started, again, because of one rule that no one cared about until now. Now I want to hear from you. Was Ke Jie cheated out of his championship? Should Korea have enforced this rule differently? And will international Go ever recover from this scandal? Let's discuss this in the comment section. And if you found this breakdown informative, don't forget to subscribe and share. Before we end this video, I would like to mention that if you want to learn Go, simplebaduk.com, great source. This has been Z from Simple Baduk, and see you next time.